So the new year just happened, as we're going to talk about this for the spicy sermon today. The new year just happened, and it was a little crazy in the Bay household. Father Bay had to go to the hospital, was having some complications because of his knee surgery. Not directly, but, indirectly. So, it's pretty lonely. I made some video calls, and I chatted with people all night, rang in the new year that way, had the next day off, and it was just quiet and sitting there worried about my dad. So before I get into this spicy sermon, just if you haven't, call your dad, call your mom, tell them you love them, tell them you're thinking about them. They love to hear that, and it only takes a couple minutes to make somebody's day, because it will make your parents' day that you call them. So when it comes to the new year, it's always great because people use it as a launching platform of bettering themselves, stopping old habits, starting new habits, getting into new routines, and that's great. It's amazing that people have an opportunity, and it helps take a mental block out so you can push forward in that motivation. But here's some facts on New Year's resolutions, and this can seem daunting. It's not supposed to. This is supposed to be as even more of a motivating tool. Percentage of New Year's resolutions that ultimately fail. Nearly half of Americans make New Year's resolutions. Only about 25% of people actually stay committed to the resolutions after the first 30 days. That means 75% of people will give up within 30 days of that new resolution. 30 days. Now, in this world, we've gotten more used to instant gratification, and that's just not how life works 99% of the time. So it's not like 30 days isn't enough, guys, especially if you're changing a habit. Usually it takes about 6 weeks minimum. Putting something into a new routine, or changing habit, dietary, physical activity, being more organized, cleanliness, whatever it is that you're trying to change. 6 weeks is like usually the minimum before you actually see a consistent effort where your brain takes over, or your with physical exercise where your dopamine receptors take over, and you feed off of that. You got to give it more time. 30 days is just simply not enough. So 75% within the first 30 days give up that New Year's resolution, and then only 10% by June. So the rest of that goes away, except for 10% is left by June. So that's 6 months. Why I'm telling you these statistics is, if you really want change, if you really want to see change in yourself or what you're doing, you need to dedicate yourself. And if you truly expect to change or truly believe that you can change, that's just not enough. You have to put in the effort. You have to put in the effort. You have to want it. It's like quitting smoking. It's a lot easier when you want to quit instead of somebody saying, "Oh, you should quit. Oh, cigarettes are bad." When your brain says, "I want to quit," it's much easier because you're self-motivated. So, like me, for instance, this year, half of my pay, already 20% goes into a 401k account. Half of my pay from that point on is going into an account that I can't touch until the end of the year. Work has this like Christmas thing set up, and I'm just taking full advantage of it and putting a lot more money in. So half of every paycheck each week goes into that. By the end of the year, I'll have enough to buy the 20 by 60 shed that I want to get. Then I can start converting it, the 401k percentage that I'm putting in there. By 4 years, I'll be able to buy a nice piece of property, at least an acre, if not maybe 5. And because land is still cheap out here in Georgia in some places. It's a progression that I know needed to happen, and this way it forces me to save to where I can't touch the account. So like I don't have access to those funds until like the first week in November or something like that. And for me, that works really well. Like I'm gonna have to button down a little bit more as far as my spending habits are concerned, because now I actually have to budget with the remaining amount of money. But it's good because no matter what happens this year, I know my progression that I want in life is going to be happening. I'm taking a huge step at the end of this year, and that'll start other things getting going as well. I've been doing carnivore diet for about 2.5 months now, and it's just not enough. Like I lost some weight, but it's not now. It's leveled out a little bit. So I need to get stricter with my eating habits even more so, and less cheat days. And knowing, so I went and got a gym membership. I'm going to be starting to go at least 4 days a week. I think that's a great number, that still gives me 2 days a week where I don't have to feel motivated to do that, and that's okay. But if you have the ability to put like more intense structure to those goals, then you're going to adhere to them. So I took that opportunity because I want to succeed. I don't want to be one of the 75% that drops out in the first 30 days or 90% that drops out by June. I want these things to change, and I want these things for myself, no matter what happens. So I have that push, I have that drive behind myself, and I have the opportunity. And for some people, it's you can't do something as drastic as that. Maybe it's hey, I'm not going to drink soda this year. Okay, what are you going to do to help yourself in not drinking soda this year? Did you know if you don't drink soda or juice for a whole year, you will automatically lose 20 pounds? That's a fact. Like just not having sugar water coming into your system, you will drop 20 pounds. You don't have to change your physical habits or anything like that. Just not drinking soda or juice, you'll drop 20 pounds. So, and not only that, but it's great because that helps with, soda leads to diabetes and all that jazz. Like juice is never really juice. Natural juice, even if it's natural juice, it has a lot of natural sugars that people don't realize, like that there's still sugar in there. So make the small change. If it's something like that may seem small for somebody else. Like for me that doesn't drink soda. But I also see it as if you're drinking, 4 or 5 sodas a day and you go, I'm not going to drink sodas anymore, that's huge for you because you're completely changing your routine. And that's big. That's a huge step. So what are you going to do? Are you going to, not carry change for the vending machine at work, so that you're not tempted? Are you going to start bringing a giant water bottle and filling that up? Or getting flavored water with no sugars or anything like that? What are you going to do to help benefit you along and to help you keep you honest? I have a friend of mine who she was asking if I had somebody to essentially be like my workout, but not necessarily work out with me, but to make sure that I'm keeping track of my goals and my amount of activity. I said I hadn't even thought about that. So I'm, again, very blessed that somebody has stepped up and said that they would be that person. So I'm going to take full advantage of that because, again, I don't want to be one of the 90%. I want to be one of the 10% that's getting their goals achieved and realized. So it's 5 days in. Have you started your New Year's resolution? Did you make one? Are you keeping to it? Have you already kind of slipped up a little bit? think about, do I really want this? And motivate yourself, you know, and tell yourself to stop doing that or start doing that. I haven't gone to the gym, and I should be starting Monday, but I've been working out at home with my weight set and stuff like that. So make your means your necessity. Help yourself to help you. And again, you put in that effort, I promise you, by the end of the year, you're going to be happy with yourself. You're going to be proud of yourself. When was the last time you felt proud of yourself? For a lot of people, that's not very often. And small, you know, if it's a big goal by the end of the year, what small steps can you take to reach that big goal? Make the small goals achievable so that it gains traction, it gains motivation for yourself, and ultimately leads to you bettering yourself. So as always, it's about that time here on the Church of Hot Sauce. Hoping that everybody here had a wonderful New Year's, and you have the ability to better yourself. What are you going to do to better yourself? As always, here on the Church of Hot Sauce, this is Pepper Bay. May the spice be with you and with you. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend, guys. Go Chargers, and we'll see y'all next week.